This is Books and Tickets, and we are delighted to be joined on Zoom once again by Kurt Walker. How are you, Kurt?
Good mate. Come the end of camp, so I'm in a good mood.
You're in a good mood. It obviously is Saturday. We're 13 days out. Obviously, for any person that's watching this on a Saturday, it's because they're a ringside member. Unfortunately, for everybody else that's not subscribed to a ringside membership on YouTube, they'll have to wait till Sunday. But like, is final spar and stuff like that complete now, or do you have a couple more spars left this week coming up?
I'll maybe do one or two more just to stay sharp, but most of the groundwork's put in, the rounds and the learning. So I'll just finish up with sharp stuff just to get me ready for the fight.
And like, it's probably been a frustrating year for you in some ways. I guess when you win your title and headline in the Ulster Hall back in March, you're going brilliant, kick on. I'm going to get opportunities here now. I've got a belt and everything else, and like it obviously hasn't worked out that way for you. I know that you had agreed to fight Masood Abdullah on a Frank Warren card, and probably in some respects that give you a backhanded compliment, be taking an easier option.
Yeah, definitely. I took that fight when I was training for a journeyman really in August. I changed it to take that fight, so I wouldn't even have been at my best probably, but I still obviously believed I was going to win the fight, no problem. So I'm willing to take risks. I kind of expected it. My career has been kind of good up to this year, and I know it's not easy boxing. It's not as simple as you win a belt, you get this fight. So I was expecting it. It's not easy. So just ride the wave and keep going.
In some ways, do you sort of take the positives of the fact that you have the extra time to prepare, or do you sort of go? I'd rather training camps and stuff like that sometimes could be a vital part that people don't see sometimes. So do you look at it and going, well, I haven't been in a fight. I've sort of been able to relax and take it a bit easier. Or are you sort of frustrated at the fact that this is only going to be your second fight of the year?
Nah, not really. Like I put the camp in for the last one, obviously, and then it was getting changed to Masood. I was at 60%. I would have took the fight and I would have won the fight, no problem. So then whenever I fell through, then I was a bit melted out. But now I've got a big fight in my hands now, so I'm being able to train for 7 to 8 weeks for this, fully prepared. And it's a tough fight. He comes to win. He's never been stabbed, and he's American Mexican, so it's going to be a hard fight.
What the obviously your opponent obviously Rudy Garcia, American slash Mexican, 13-1-1. What do you know of the opponent? I guess sometimes you as a fighter, it doesn't matter sometimes who they are. It's sort of H and Jamie and Mick and things like that in the background that sort of work that out. Like, do you know much of him?
I know a wee bit of him. I know his only defeat was an Olympian in my weight, an Argentinian, who's very good. I think he has, I don't know how many wins, but most of them are knockouts. A lot of them are first round knockouts, so he's strong and he didn't stop him. So he's obviously tough. And I just knew, yeah, I know that they're American. He comes to win. I haven't really looked too much into it, to be honest. My coach has. I know what he does well. I know what he does not so well. So it's all about me turning up on the night.
Yeah, the opponent you're talking about, the Argentinian Mirko Carrera, he's 14-0 with 11 stoppages. It's sort of you look at records like that and you're going, I wouldn't mind if you had knockouts.
Yeah, he's a good fighter. Him, he was in the Olympics. He beat the German, who beat me in the qualifier. So he's a good fighter.
Like, I guess sometimes like it's probably it's hard for you. I guess when you're seeing someone like that as a big puncher and stuff like that, it's hard to sort of look at what went wrong for Rudy in that defeat. Like, I guess you just have to focus on you and what you do well, and how you can get opportunities. Like, you never know, you could end up stopping them as well very early on. Just this boxing game, there's nothing set in stone.
Nah, fight's a fight, and I wouldn't even look at that fight. I actually haven't looked at that fight because he boxes completely different than I do, so it wouldn't make a difference watching what he does because I'm going to do probably the complete opposite. He's a go forward fighter, your man, the Argentine, and I'm different, so I'm just looking at wee things your man does well, and then up in my game. That's all I'm worrying about.
Is he? Am I right in saying that Rudy Garcia is he a pro box fighter? Is that correct, or has he just been brought on as an
No,
opponent?
I haven't a clue, mate. I know he was fighting on Golden Boy shows last year or 2 years ago. He drew with I forget the guy's name, but he's not bad. He drew with him on a Golden Boy
Vic,
show.
Victor Morales.
Victor Morales, so he drew with him. So he's obviously a good level. It's going to be a tough fight, but I've trained well.
It's not me as an encyclopedia of boxing here. Obviously, it's box rec. Obviously, I
Yeah,
have on my phone in the background, so people's going, "Geez, you know everything here about boxing." box rec comes in handy sometimes whenever questions come up. You don't want to leave
Yeah,
questions unanswered in an interview, so you don't want to burn your head going, "Hey, is that guy? Who is that guy?" You know, um, like probably in some ways, Kurt, your career so far, like you've been on obviously a lot of different platforms. You've obviously been on Matchroom. You've obviously, I think you've been on obviously other platforms and stuff as well. Like obviously Germany coming up now. Actually, 2 years ago, that was
yeah.
the crazy one where um you've got Valentine's cards and stuff since from the opponent, but you boxed all over. Like do you think it whenever you turned over like. I know we keep going on about it, like making your debut in the Josh Taylor Cathal card. Like you've obviously had a lot of great moments so far.
Nah, it's been good. I've enjoyed it. It was probably about enjoyment that first 2 years for me because a lot of stress in amateurs, trying to go to Olympics, trying to win a medal, trying to win medals at World Championships, Europeans, all stress too. Like so, it was good to enjoy them first 2 years, and I've really grown into a pro fighter I think now. So it's about pushing her on constantly, and just trying to do the best I can do.
Is it one of these things now? I guess as the rounds go up, obviously you don't fight as regularly. Sometimes is that the annoying part? Where you're going, why can't I fight? Why am I not having a fight? And it's like you're in 10 round fights here. You can't fight 5 or 6 times in a year.
Yeah, that's annoying that, but the camps are a lot more intense now when you're doing 10 or 12 weeks for a 10 round fight or a 12 round fight, so it's understandable. You can't put your body through that all the time, but I loved the fight constantly. Like in the first year when I fought 4 or 5 times, it was good because it was just fighting, taking a week off and going straight back. And it was enjoyable that way.
I know obviously recently, I think everybody nearly in Belfast was in Wembley. You were back to the scene of obviously where you fought there yourself. You're over there obviously watching Van Ando Kakachi. Like what an occasion it obviously was in Wembley. Like, I guess
Yeah,
is it
it was brilliant. Serious crowd. Just a serious show in general. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was brilliant. And he's riding a wave at the moment. He's doing unbelievable.
is it like an inspiration, I guess, in some ways? Like I know I keep going over it with people and sort of saying, it's like from what Ando's been through in his career, do you now see him at 35 years of age on the top step of the sport, world champion, fighting in big cards, getting big money. Like, does that still hit home to you? That sort of like doesn't matter what goes on in your career, if you keep working hard, these opportunities are going to come.
Nah, it is. It's crazy. Like 35. I was hoping to be done with 35. This fella's only getting started. Like, I don't know how he does it, but fair play to him. That man kept at it whenever I probably wouldn't have kept at it. When there's nothing coming, there's no money. Why do it? Like, but he's reaping the rewards now, and the things just keep going for him. Like, so hopefully he keeps it going.
Speaking of obviously another inspiration, obviously, we're a couple of months past since Kellie Harrington became a double Olympic world champion. Like that's probably, it probably goes under the radar, but and obviously who she beat along the way. Like she beat most of all the seeded fighters along the way. Like what, I know that I think that's her buying out now from obviously amateur boxing, but what a summer it was for Kellie.
Yeah, probably the best Irish amateur boxer or athlete ever. 2 Olympic golds on the bounce. And she's retiring whenever she wants to retire, which makes it 10 times better. She's going out on her own terms. No, it would be very hard for anyone to ever win what she's won. It's insane, but she's a proper professional when it comes to training, and she does what's right for her all the time, so she deserves it.
I know some people are sort of still thinking of obviously Katie and think Katie probably overall between amateur and pro is
Yeah,
obviously the greatest female Irish boxer of all time. But from what if you're in a double Olympic world champion, you can't get better than that. So in some ways, yes, Katie paved the way for probably Kellie coming through.
yeah,
But
yeah,
for what Kelly's done now, it's now something to do it 3 times.
yeah, definitely. Katie just started it all, and no one will ever be able to do that the way she's done it. She brought it into boxing, pro boxing everywhere. She's going to be the highest paid female boxer ever after this next fight, I think, is it?
Six and a half
So
million.
six
Six
and
and
a
a
half
half
minutes.
million
So
dollars. I think it's about 5 million in our money.
So she's done everything, the first to do everything in all stages of everything. So it's unbelievable.
Speaking obviously of obviously the gym, you've Kieran Molloy obviously back with you now. Obviously, I know he's under a different coach in the same gym. But I'm sure he's obviously going back up to your antics again.
No, not even because he's come in and I've been deep in camp. So there's been no antics. It's been just chilling out, no going out for food, none of that. It's been just, and he actually has a fight, I think, coming up soon. So I haven't been able to mess about, which is good. But
I
it's
guess
good to have him. He looks good in the gym, and hopefully we'll see a better Kieran Molloy.
I was going to say, obviously, sometimes it's good to see familiar faces. Obviously, you don't have so much of Mick now. Obviously, I know we'd planned to do an interview last week, and Mick had dragged you off to the golf course.
Yeah.
It's one of them when you have familiar faces. Obviously, Kieran, obviously with the amateur and everything else, it sometimes makes camp a lot easier. Sometimes knowing you have a friendly face there.
I definitely been talking about it. Like you don't even do that much because you rest in between. But even when you're having your lunch together, like you might say 20 words, but it makes a big difference. It's until when you're by yourself, not talking to anyone. It's crazy. You don't even realize it until you don't have someone. You might speak minimal maybe at night time or at lunchtime, but you're going doing your sessions. But that wee chat makes a difference.
It's I guess it's a behind the scenes some things sometimes that people don't see. It's slogging through camp and sort of having to question yourself sometimes, why am I doing this? Obviously you have a young family and stuff at home and you're sort of going, why am I doing this? But you have to think of that bigger picture and think of years to come, when it was all worthwhile, it's putting yourself through that slog.
Yeah, 100%. I don't think anything good comes without sacrifice, really. Like so. At least if it doesn't work out the way it's worked out, at least you can say you tried. That's the main thing. It'd be better, it'd be worse if you didn't try and then you always thought about it for the rest of your life. So that's the way I look at things. Just if it happens, it happens. I know I'm good enough, but if it doesn't, at least I tried.
And obviously returning back to the SSE arena again, obviously it's a venue that you fought on. I think was it last December? Would that be right in saying?
You know more than me. I can't even remember last December.
Let me see. You last fought last last.
I
Crikey, when
fought
was it?
last November in Scotland, did I not
Last
know?
May. Right,
Last
it's
May.
nearly a year and a half ago since you last fought there. So you're returning.
Uh,
I think you're returning. Obviously, you fought your last two fights were both in the Ulster Hall, but you're returning back to another venue again. We were sort of saying you were doing the globe trotting, obviously different
uh,
venues everywhere. Like SSE Arena, you've obviously known very well doing the years. It's a very special venue. Like, what are you expecting? Obviously, come fight night.
no, just I'm expecting good card. I think it's a good card. 50-50 fights. Boxing's changing now, and with the series and all, so now you see the likes of Conlan boxing and all, they're all putting on 50-50 fights more than what there was a few years back, which is good. Brings a crowd in and it's exciting. And I'm glad to be in one of them 50-50 fights, so yeah, it looks good.
That's a fight that you sort of want because you don't want a fight where you expected they win or you don't have to
Yeah,
they put all the work in. You know that obviously if Rudy Garcia comes and he comes to fight, you're going to get openings, and that's obviously where we're going to see the very best of Kurt Walker.
yeah, definitely. I said I fought all these top journeymen who didn't really give openings that much, and I said when I fight someone who has ability and comes to win, I'll be my best. And when I fought James Peach, I got the stoppage after not getting established from the first fight. And what should have been my toughest fight, so it definitely shows when you come from a high level amateur pedigree or whatever you call it takes longer, I think, because you have to go back down the levels of the journeyman and you look bad. I think all top amateurs look bad at the start until they start fighting the good people.
It's I guess in some ways when you haven't fought in nearly 8 months, sometimes it nearly could have been easier for them to go, what, we'll give you a six rounder and keep you busy, but it's probably just in your head you're going, nah, I don't want to
And
just
I
keep
don't want
busy. I,
to.
I want to keep progressing on.
Nah, I want hard fights. You kind of get bored of it too when you're fighting them journeyman. I know you have to do it at the start. You need to build and you need to learn, especially being amateur for so long. But you get to that stage where you don't want it anymore. You want tough fights, 50-50 fights, with something to get you up to go to training camp.
I think sometimes the longer, the more that you continue to fight levels below you, then become, you could become stagmatic and sort of go to their level, and then you could start making mistakes and get caught with a shot. The next thing you go and Craigie my career's over, get beat by a journeyman.
Yeah, definitely. It's hard as to say, rather get knocked out by a good fighter than knocked out by a journeyman. Like, even though you don't want to get knocked out at all, but I think you're more alert when you're fighting the proper fighters. They're thinking you're thinking. A journeyman's there to do what he does, and sometimes he wins one with a tap that he doesn't even know he's going to do, and it could land. So it's a lot of risk for zero reward.
And is your belt on the line for your fight against Garcia?
I'm not sure yet. We're trying to get another belt on the line, I think, but I don't know. But it's 2 weeks now. We'll have to see what happens. But we're trying to get it done, so hopefully that happens.
An early Christmas present for the Walker household then.
Hopefully get another belt. Put her up in the fireplace.
I guess it'd be a good thing for Santa coming, and obviously I know your wee one will be taking the belt, so you only have it for fight night, and that'll be it.
Yeah, that's it.
How do you see the fight going? Obviously, with Rudy Garcia, I guess sometimes you don't like to make predictions and things like that. Like, how do you see the fight going? Do you see it being a sort of 50-50 fight, or obviously it's aging in your favour?
Yeah, I think on paper it's a 50-50 fight. Maybe on paper, maybe I edged it a bit. I'm not sure. But it's one of them ones I don't really know how it's going to unfold. I just know I'm a better fighter and a better boxer. I have more skill, I have a better boxing brain. So all I need to do is be on form, and I should win. But it's about getting to there and getting my head right. I just need to go in proper 100% and I put in serious work this camp. And every camp just keeps getting better and better. Me on the numbers and all, and the strength, everything else. So there's no reason why I can't.
Definitely. Well, look, obviously, I'll thank you as always for your time. Obviously, we know we're only 13 days out from obviously action, but no doubt we'll bump into you plenty of times in fight week and obviously
Yeah.
coming up. Look, enjoy obviously the last week of obviously your last tough week of camp. We'll catch you in fight week in Belfast.
Yes, good man, Stevie. Thanks.
All right, Kurt. Cheers. Take care.
Cheers, mate. See you
Thanks.
later.
Bye. Bye. Bye.